Mobile customers are extremely important to Hightail as a business. In fact, if you look at any business today, companies are more and more global today than they ever were. Employees at organizations are more geographically distributed and mobile than ever before. In many ways, work is less about a place you go and more about what you get done. And in today's post-PC era, I don't think companies can afford not to think mobile first. From Hightail's perspective, we help our customers easily access, share, and act upon their business content. And given the dynamics of how the workforce is today, and given the fact that they're using devices that allow for them to work wherever they are, Hightail sees mobility and our mobile customers as primary to our business. And it's particularly important to be able to take what your customers are telling you and translate them into your product experiences. Hightail has a number of initiatives that allow for us to funnel the voice of the customer back into the organization. Some of these are structured opportunities such as Net Promoter Score surveys, ongoing customer satisfaction surveys, structured customer advisory boards for our larger enterprise customers. Some of these tend to be more ad hoc, a meeting with a customer, a call into our customer support line where we get inputs about what works, what doesn't work, what could be working better. Once we have this rich funnel of information, we have a fairly well-defined process internally to translate these requirements and enhancements requests back to our product and engineering teams. Now, specific to the mobile use case, though, it is particularly important to go one step further and not only understand the use case associated with the customer request, but translate that into mobility-specific items. For example, when you're on a mobile phone, what you need to take into consideration is that your network connectivity and speeds of connections could be very different from when you're sitting in front of your desktop. The screen space available to you is very different from a 21-screen monitor. And also, very importantly, the interface that you have, a touch screen interface, for example, is something that you want to take into consideration. You know, mobile first is a very popular buzzword, but we take it very seriously. In many ways, if you use mobile first as a philosophy, it does help guide how you translate what you're hearing from your customers directly into your mobile product interface. I'll answer this in two parts. On the one side, there is measuring customer satisfaction with your services, and again, some of the structured modes that we discussed earlier: Net Promoter Score surveys, customer satisfaction surveys, enterprise customer advisory board interactions, provide us a lot of very direct and tangible, measurable feedback on how satisfied the customer is with the services that we've offered to them. Now, success of a service actually goes beyond that. There are, when you want to look at the success of a service, one of the best measures that you can have is actually adoption and usage of the service. With mobile as a use case, for example, the number of downloads associated with your mobile app is, the first level indicator there. Then you move into usage patterns. How frequently are users accessing the service? How long are they on the application? What sort of activities are they performing? Is it, from our perspective, is it a file upload, a file download, a file access, a share-related activity? And so all of these usage patterns provide us a lot of visibility and information about how successful our customers are with using our service. And quite honestly, at the end of the day, a very simple but a highly measurable metric of success for a software as a service or a subscription-based business is retention and renewal rates. If a customer doesn't see success in your service, they're not going to renew with you. First, our maniacal focus on end user simplicity and delight. We focus very heavily on elegant, easy to use interfaces for our end users. But we also focus on having our solution available to our users where they typically work, on email, on their mobile devices, on their desktops, so they can continue doing what they do normally and have Hightail fit seamlessly into their business work activities. Another thing that comes to mind right away is our focus on the core customer use case as compared to building out a bunch of bells and whistles, a complicated set of features. I truly believe that oftentimes a company is defined more by what it does not do versus what it does. And Hightail thinks long and hard about what the customer needs and looks to deliver those in the most simple and meaningful ways versus developing a long list of features. You oftentimes hear about vendors that actually take features out of their product simply because they aren't being used and cause confusion with the end users. The other thing that I think differentiates Hightail very, very meaningfully is our ongoing and deep commitment to security, insights, and controls. And this matters both to our end users who tend to use Hightail for business purposes and hence are dealing with content that can be sensitive or proprietary, as well as corporate security officers and CIOs who view security as paramount when it comes to cloud-based services.